Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you just couldn't defend your own space? Like your boundaries, they just dissolve the second they're challenged. Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful idea for reclaiming that inner strength. And it's not about aggression, it's about something called the warrior's iron. It all kicks off with this fascinating old Celtic motto: never give a sword to a man who can't dance. It sounds like a total paradox, right? I mean, a sword is for conflict and dancing is for celebration. But stick with me, because this one idea holds the key to a much deeper, more complete kind of strength. You see, we're not talking about actual physical combat here. The sword is a metaphor for discernment, for clarity. It's the ability to make a clean cut and say, this is me and that is not. And the dance? Well, that's the grace, the awareness, the flexibility to move with life instead of just constantly clashing against it. Okay, so this is absolutely crucial. The inner warrior we're talking about isn't some brute looking for a fight. It's so much more refined than that. Think of it like a guardian, a sentinel, whose one and only job is to protect the integrity of your inner world, your psychic house. They don't invade, they defend. But what happens when that guardian is weak or, maybe just asleep on the job? Well, that leads to a very common, very modern problem. It's that feeling of being totally undefended and porous in a world that is constantly pushing against us. And this image, wow, it just captures that feeling so vividly. Someone crosses a line with you, maybe they take something from you emotionally, and instead of defending your space, you're just left standing there with this confused, almost pleading smile. It's the look of a soul whose defenses have just completely collapsed. It's such a deeply unsettling feeling, isn't it? So you have to ask yourself, where does this come from? Why do our inner defenses, our warriors, just fail us in these really crucial moments? To find the answer, we have to go back, way back. Turns out, this weakness often starts with our earliest experiences, from wounds we got in childhood, back when we were at our most vulnerable. Our inner warriors are supposed to protect us, but as kids, they can be systematically taken apart. Think about it. When a parent's powerful mood constantly just steamrolls our own, when harsh words pierce right through our boundaries, when our physical space is invaded with no way to stop it, well, our natural defenses just crumble. Our own little soul castle is treated like it has no ruler. And the emotional gunk that's left over from all these invasions? It's shame. For a child, the logic is simple and it's brutal. If my boundaries mean nothing, if I have no power here, then I must be worthless. Shame becomes this deep internal proof of our own inadequacy. And this leads to this incredibly powerful long-term consequence captured in this metaphor. We grow up feeling like the doorknob to our own soul is on the outside of the door. That means anyone, a demanding boss, a difficult relative, a manipulative partner, can just walk right in anytime they want because we've lost control of the entrance. So if that's the problem, what on earth is the solution? Well, it turns out we face this really fundamental choice in how we relate to the world, a choice we can symbolize with two different metals. Are you going to be copper or are you going to be iron? Okay, so the copper strategy is a survival skill we often learn as kids. You know how copper is a great conductor of electricity, right? Well, a person can become a conductor for emotional currents. To keep the peace, you learn to absorb your father's rage or your mother's anxiety, basically grounding their difficult emotions right through your own body. Okay, so let's put these two side by side. The copper person becomes a bridge, right? They lose their own shape to conduct other people's feelings, all for the sake of harmony. But the iron person, the warrior, they do something totally different. They defend the boundary. They create distinction. They're not looking for harmony at all costs. They're looking for authenticity, even if that means creating a little tension. And this is where it gets really interesting and kind of counterintuitive. An ancient creation myth actually suggests that without a sword, without that ability to make distinctions, even love or eros is impossible. How can that be? Because the sword, in this sense, isn't a weapon of war. It's a tool of creation. It's the thing that separates light from dark, land from sea. It's what creates a beautifully detailed world by defining one thing as being separate from another. So to be iron isn't to destroy something. It's to clearly define who you are in relation to someone else, which is, when you think about it, the foundation of any real connection. Now, when we start to embrace this path of iron, this path of healthy distinction and solid boundaries, something pretty incredible starts to happen. We don't just become better at defending ourselves, we actually awaken something much deeper, a part of us that might have been asleep for a very, very long time. So, this is the big question, right? If we give up being the copper conductor, if we stop trying to keep the peace no matter what it costs us, and we actually risk the discomfort of a little tension, what's the ultimate payoff? What's in it for us? Well, the old alchemists had an answer for this. They said that when you finally choose what you truly value, your one precious thing, and you stand for it, a profound shift happens inside. The sovereign part of you, your inner king or queen that represents your true, authentic self, wakes up from its long slumber. So, the path is actually laid out pretty clearly for us. First, we have to break that addiction to always being the peacemaker, the human copper wire. From there, we make a clear, conscious choice about what we really truly value. And this allows us to accept the necessary, maybe even joyful tensions of life. And in doing that, we finally awaken our true sovereign self. Ultimately,